Last time on Sailing Ambrosia, you saw us cast the lines and set course to leave All Saints Bay. Join us in episode 4 as we make an upwind passage over 140 nautical miles back to Newport Beach, California. So hold tight and grab a hold of something, sailor. This passage begins with us hoisting the mainsail in the harbor and sailing into the bay on our second reef. Before I hoist the main, I check to make sure the clutches for the reefing lines are open. I'm going to hoist directly to the second reef because of the strong wind forecasted for the next day. Off comes the main halyard, and I immediately notice it's wrapped around the spreader. It's almost hopeless to try getting it loose, as you can see here.
Okay.
I try several times, but I only manage once Samantha points us into irons. Keep your eyes on the flags, and you'll see the moment they point backwards is when the halyard comes loose. Okay, now it's time for the hoist. I take out the slack in the halyard, and then undo the last sail tie. You can hear the sail lugs squealing. It's time to relube that mast groove. Our mainsail has a dog bone between each reef kringle. I grab one side of it and place it on the reef hook located on the gooseneck. After tightening the clew and installing the reef ties, we're ready to sail past the breakwater.
Alright, go for it. I'm going to sheet the main for power now, and then I'm going to pull the jib out. Well, okay. Yeah, because the main was depowered right now. Let me check our speed. Yeah. Doing 5.2, 5.3 with just the main.
We sailed close-hauled across the bay and tacked once to check what that heading would be. We were trying to avoid a large shallow region on our map and any of the Regatta boats that would soon come barreling down the coast. Here you see our first attempt at tacking, which failed. We stalled midway and had to try again. Side note, you can really see how big the waves are in this clip. Anyways, this tack didn't work for 2 reasons, which I'll explain later, after we successfully retry this tack. Just hold on a sec.
Okay, ready? Go.
I don't have a...
What? It's up front.
Ha! Can you tell these landlubbers are a little rusty with their seamanship skills?
Yeah, here you go. Cool, alright.
So, why did our first tack fail? Well, our autopilot fell short, is the quick answer. It's set to tack 95 degrees, but our tacking angle is more like 120 degrees under these conditions. Second, and to a lesser extent, we didn't set the main sheet traveler to the opposite tack beforehand, which could have helped power us through the tack. As you can see here, I'm asking Samantha to raise the main sheet traveler to the port side so that we can make more power. However, we didn't stay long on this tack because it would put us directly into a large shallow area off the coast, so we returned to our original heading for a bit longer.
Such a cool shot right here.
We We reached our waypoint and tacked towards the opposite side of the bay. The sun was low on the horizon and we hadn't made much progress, but such is the reality of sailing upwind. We tacked again and pointed straight towards the island of All Saints, and the sun finally set over the Pacific Ocean. We are just off of the islands that are in All Saints Bay, and it's my watch. We're still tacking to get out of the Bay of All Saints. Sam is taking a rest right now. She's taking a nap, and I'm just on watch. And pretty soon I'm going to tack. I'm going to use the autopilot over there to do a solo tack. We've got a second reef in the main. Just for precaution, because it was really windy when we started off. And we have a full jib out. And we're doing about 4.5 knots, so that's okay. I'll take that. Alright, I'll show you guys the map after I do my tack and clear these islands. Okay, so I successfully tacked the boat. I woke up with Samantha and we raised the mainsail so that we have a full main. And the wind kind of died down. It's probably around 10, 12 knots. We're pinching as high as we can to get out of this bay. And it's a beautiful night. The stars are out. It's gorgeous. I wish that you could see what I could see with this GoPro, but I know that that's not possible. So right now, I'm just doing a starboard tack, kind of pinching as high as I can to the wind. I can see, maybe I can see San Diego way off in the distance there. But we're still very deep in Mexico. We haven't really left the Bay of All Saints yet. So let's take a look at the map. Okay, here's where we are, and I can start to see a lot of regatta boats coming in under spinnaker. You can't really see them, but they're definitely up ahead. I can see the shadow of the spinnaker on the city lights. So that is another boat from the regatta, but they don't have their sails up. Man, they're coming super close to us. That's crazy.
There's another one too, way behind it.
Way behind it, yeah. Look at them, they're coming right up next to us. They're motoring, they're just slamming through the waves. That is crazy. We were just in a bit of a doldrum for maybe 45 minutes or so. We were making like 1 knot tops, and then finally the wind changed. It started coming from the shore, and we have enough wind to sail maybe 3-4 knots, and it changed direction. So instead of coming from the north from the ocean, it's coming from the north from the land, which means that we can point a little bit higher, and we're still close hold, but now we can point directly north, which is nice. I'll show you on the map what that looks like. We're not making great progress, but at least we're pointed in the right direction.
So, it's like 11 p.m. at night, and we almost collided with a sailboat in the Regatta because they weren't paying attention, and we had the right of way going upwind, and I guess they didn't see us, and we were on a slow motion collision course in a doldrum, which if we both lost power would not be fun. So kind of funny. Here we are in the middle of the night going like 2 miles an hour, and we could still be in a collision. So silly. We'll keep a fun lookout. It'll make for an entertaining night.
Sure will. We have what, 1,000 sailboats to look out for? Yeah, we've got something like 1,000 sailboats that we have to look out for in this regatta. It's pretty crazy.
It's more like 100, but sure.
Oh, whatever. It feels like a million.
All right. Well, too bad for them, but we already won the race.
Alright, so it's just about daybreak. You can see Venus and maybe Jupiter or Mercury behind me. It's really pretty. Can't see me at all. You can see the sun rising. We are just south of the Coronado Islands. We haven't made very much progress at all. I can show you. There you go. So, yeah. That was our tacking all night long, and then the wind died out, and we've just been kind of drifting. We've got the diesel on, so from about this point right here where my thumb is, we've just kind of been like ghosting in the wind and then turning the diesel on and just kind of going. The Coronado Islands are right here in the top left, right around here. Oh, right there. So we've still got quite a ways till the Mexican border, or the US border I should say. We're still in Mexico, and you know, we're just kind of cruising along. There's hardly any wind at all. You can see the wind generator's not even running, so well, it's definitely morning now. Wind is back ever so gently. Got the full sails out. Trying to close haul here, pick up whatever little wind I can. That looks like Tijuana over there. We've got these big ocean swells coming through. So there's very little wind right now, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to cook, and we've finally run out of water on Ambrosia. I haven't filled up the water in a couple trips, but the big water tank that's under here is finally empty. So I'm gonna cook some rice without water. Instead, I'm gonna use some beer and a rice cooker, so we'll see how that works out. Oh, yum. Beer rice. I like it. Whoa, we're healing.
After a steamy bowl of carbs, we had a nice siesta sprawled in the cockpit. It can be tough to find refuge from the sun without a bimini top, but jacket hoods and floppy hats can do the trick. The winds picked up after lunch, and we tacked upwind while also trying to get some rest.
So let's get this side ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah, turn them up.
Mm-hmm. And now tacking.
We came close enough to a fishing vessel to realize it had half a mile of nets out. We tacked to starboard to stay clear of its path.
All right, the first dolphins of the day.
You know, in hindsight, these might have been tuna, because I don't see any dorsal fins or breaching that would indicate dolphins. This footage actually looks like large tuna feeding, but when we first saw splashing in the water, we just assumed it was dolphins.
Very cool.
I think we're chasing them.
Yeah, I think we are. We're just outside of the Coronado Islands that separate Mexico from the United States. And the wind picked up. I would say it's maybe like 10 knots. We've got a speed over ground of 5 steady. And we're just trying to make westerly as far as we can so that we can do our starboard tack and point all the way to Point Loma. It looks like the wind is going to die at 8 p.m. So we're going to try and get as far north as we can by 8 p.m. and then motor the rest of the way. Reefed in and a full mainsail, and we're pointed towards the Coronado Islands right there. And I would say we've got 15 knots of wind. What do you say, Sam? 15 to 20. Yeah, gusts to 20, steady 15. Yeah, and things are looking great. Hopefully we can make some progress to get home. I would love to get home right about now. Powered the main by reducing the belly. We've also reduced the twist by putting the traveler in the middle, and we've let out the sheets to spill a little bit of wind. The jib is rolled in about halfway, so that's nice and reefed, and we're pointing really high, pinching so that we spill a little bit of wind. You can see the jib luffs from time to time. So this tack should put us into the US border, and we're just now passing the Coronado Islands here in Mexico. So there's the big one, little baby guy over there, and that one. And I think the wind is probably upper teens, maybe 18, gusting to 20. Pretty comfortable when we depower the sail like this. So everything is going well. How you feeling, Sam? Feel good? Eating some cookies? Alright, very cool. I don't think so. Your hood looks really funny right now. It looks like a old bandana from the 90s or something popping out on the sides. It's cute. we're still in Mexico.
Samantha got sunscreen in her eyes, so she called me from below deck to help out.
I will take over. So, we've got the anchor locker over there that is open because I like to see the anchor chain, but apparently the port and starboard lights leak, so every time we stuff the bow, we get a squirt gun of water into the V-berth. So now all of our bedding and clothing is completely soaked. So I'm gonna try and reinstall that little door so that stops happening. So wish me luck. Oh my God. Oh, that's the hole. There's the port and starboard lights. That's the water that comes in. Alright. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy crap. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on. There we go. Oh my God. All right. I'm ready to puke. That's not good. Wind's dying down, she says. Oh my God. Okay. I fixed the anchor lock. Oh, whatever. I'll tell you later. Okay, so I've been on watch virtually all day, so now I'm gonna try and get some shut-eye while Sam leads us to our last waypoint where we can tack, hopefully, straight into Newport. So, yeah, that'll be exciting. It looks like the weather, we've planned this last tack so that we stay in the windy zone and we kind of avoid near shore where it's going to be no wind. So we're kind of going way out towards San Clemente Island so we can keep getting the wind and then tack straight into Newport and hopefully get wind the whole way. So, yeah, we'll see how this turns out. Wish us luck.
Alright, so full disclaimer here. The wind ended up shifting drastically and made this last tack highly inefficient. Eventually Sam called me into the cockpit to help her tack back toward land. Shortly afterwards the wind completely died and she motored us through the night like a champ.
There's no guarantee that we'll have wind later, so let's get as close to home as possible.
Agreed.
Okay. Okay, ready when you are.
Hey, tacking.
Tack away. Good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Day 3 of our passage. It is a beautiful sunrise this morning, very calm, very glassy. I don't know if you can see behind me how flat the water is right now. Just we're coasting through, and unfortunately we are motoring. So we were tacking very unproductively around the end of the day yesterday. The wind was still there, but it was exactly in the way that we wanted to go. So we made the executive decision to make sure that we got home on time to start motoring. So we pointed our boat directly into the wind, took down all our sails. We thought about keeping the main up to help stabilize the boat, but it just took it all down. And had a little bit of rocking and rolliness to the start of the evening. But this morning it's very calm. We're headed straight to Newport, and we only have a few more hours to go. So,
But it's the sunrise. This is quite nice. Motor sailing home. Got full sails up. Diesel is just idling over here. The sun came up. We found a little bit of wind. And we're homewards bound. Let's see, that's Cleveland National Forest right there. So that's a familiar face. And over there is Catalina Island just on the horizon. So that's a familiar face too. And that hill right there looks to be Dana Point. So we are very close to home.
What I am about to show you is very special. I believe this pod of dolphins was sleeping, woke up with the presence of our boat, and immediately joined us to play. I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I did. This is probably the best part of bringing a camera on our adventures, the ability to share these moments with you.
Hello, friends. Goodbye, friends. This is the end of our trip. It's taken us 42 hours to get back home. 43 because we're an hour away from the mooring. We're just about to enter the jetty. Shouldn't take more than 10 gallons or so. Oh yeah, it does look good. Very nice.
That's our neighbor boat, Zayala. They sewed our sacrificial cover on the jib when it had ripped off. Thank you guys for all the amazing help and warm welcome into boat life. Samantha and I are very appreciative of your support.
Yeah, it broke.
Wow, lesson learned. Our polyester float line is biodegradable and it was completely destroyed after 5 weeks in the water. I'll be replacing that line with polypropylene.
Good job. Good job, Sam. Nice catch.
If you liked that video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Now that Ambrosia's back in our home waters, be sure to stick around for episodes where we go sailing to Catalina and more.